What's up, everybody? Welcome to the channel. You are getting a first, as far as I've seen, encyclopedia for eFootball. So what I mean by this is there's a lot of details in this game which truly should be appreciated. Konami does a great job with that. Now, I will say in the menus, at least the information in the different sections could definitely be streamlined. Hopefully they update that soon, but once you know what you're looking for, it isn't hard to navigate, right? It's just kind of learning at first where everything's at, and then from there you're good to go. Now, what we're going to do with this eFootball encyclopedia is create a one-stop shop for anybody starting the game so they can understand exactly where everything's at. And even if you've been playing, if you're anything like myself, I was missing a lot of details that I wish I knew earlier. Fortunately for me, I had the community helping me on stream, and fortunately for you, I'm going to create this video so you can reference anytime, and in each section you will see once the video comes out, right? Which this is a live stream right now, so the recording from this will be chopped up and put into the actual video for the encyclopedia. So in the video section of this, you will be able to see in the top right corner every single title that you are looking at. So you can skip forwards, look through for the different chapters in the video, and find exactly what you are looking for. So for me, this would have been super helpful day one. Let's say I sat down with all these community members at one time and created this. This, what you're going to see in the video, is exactly what will help any newcomer out, so you know right off the bat everything you can find and you won't make any mistakes. And I'll show you what I mean, some examples of where I made some mistakes. So first off, you turn on the game. This is the screen that you see after you see the load up part. You hit X, you go in, and boom, this is what you see right here. These are called your banners. You will see all the different promotions and different information that the game wants you to know about. These constantly update, the current promos that are going on with players that you can purchase, anything going on, as far as events, things like that, new managers, kits available, whatever. So these are called banners, and there's actually some options for what you see up here too. We'll get into that in a bit. As you go across the top, right, there's 4 different sections here we will go in, and then after those 4 sections we'll go across the bottom here. Now, you want to pay attention to, in the top right and in the bottom of the screen, in every screen you click into, there's almost these sub-menus. So for right now, on the main menu, when I click what would be the start button on PlayStation, right? I click in, and this is my sort of email, eFootball email, if you will. Here's all the different news that comes out, such as notifications. They'll have any game updates, right? This will all be in here. And every time there's something new, you'll see it here. Then you can mark everything as red. You see all items are marked as red now. If you see something that's not marked, you know it's new. You can read it, then mark it as red. Now, you go over to Inbox from News by clicking L1 and R1. And then you go to Inbox. I don't have anything now, but let's say I just completed an event or got some kind of reward. This is where it would be, and then at the bottom you see the triangle button. I click, and I could claim everything here. So after every match, you'll see if there's something new, which there typically is. You go in, and you'll actually have a number of new items or new news that's in your inbox highlighted in that top right. There'll be a little number on the corner, so you always know if there's something new in there. You don't have to constantly check, it will show you. Then from there at the bottom, you see if I press triangle now, it shows the different events. I call them promos, you can call them events. You can actually watch a video, which as you see now, and this essentially just shows a little promo, which I think is pretty cool, of the players you can get. I actually just got all 3 of these players in this current promo, and this video is incredible, right? When you pack the players, they sort of play something similar to this. This is a little more detailed, but it's just pretty cool how they do that. It definitely builds up the hype. Obviously, that's if you want to put your money in. That's how you can get these players. We'll talk more about that as we get further into it. But this will give you a little preview of these superstar players that they have. You see they have special boosters. Again, we'll get into more of that further in the video. But this is just a little hype video, if you will, or a trailer of these players that you'll get in action. Has a little preview with their stats. And then you can click in from there if you want, if you're interested and get more information. So that's a little preview of that. You see here, there's another promo. I can click on details, and then everything you need to know, starting, end time, just whatever the campaign objectives are, right? To get a free signing, which we'll talk about more about that as we get into the contract, right? And this will obviously update as there's new information too. So there's a lot of things like this that you have to go into across the top and bottom of your screen where you can essentially get the fine print of everything, right? So you'll have, I guess you could call it a summarized details with like the poster of the event, and then you go in and everything you need to know is in here. Take the time to skim through at least, or read through, right? Which is probably the better option, but at least skim through all of this. I'll give you an example where I made a mistake. If I would have read into this, I would have found out that I could have got my Showtime signing earlier, right? There's an objective player that we could complete, but I kind of summarized what I took from the information on the general screen, and I was wrong. So if I would have read into these details more, I would have seen, and I would have had a Showtime national team selection, you know, one of the players from a list they give you. I'll show you that list soon, and I could add that player sign. So don't forget, every screen you go into, look at the top and the bottom for areas where you can get further information. It could be very helpful to you. Moving on. Now we've seen that. We've got, you know, the home screen. We see our inbox, our eFootball email, if you will, in the top right. Along the bottom, you see the event info. And this is the banner settings I was talking about. You see on PlayStation, if you click R3 right here, you can see it says about recommended banner settings. As the recommended banner settings is set to on, recommended banners will be displayed based on your purchase history, country, region of residence, or residence, and other circumstances, right? If you want to change the settings, it actually shows you what to go into, which we'll get into where that's at in a bit. And you can basically change what information they provide you on those banners. So you make sure you see things that you're interested in and don't miss anything, okay? And then just to show you again, once again here, even on the bottom here, you can go to support from here, right? It's just, there's all these little quick links to help you, and it takes you right into the settings section. So that's the home screen. Now we're going across this top from home to missions. Once you go into missions, that's like the, let's call it the title page. You go down, and there's 3 different sections within missions. First, we're going to talk about the skill up. You see I've cleared the 10 challenges they have within. Learn while enjoying playing the game. This is something that I literally did not go into, did not know about, because the menus are so detailed. I had so many different things to go into and do. I never even went into this until later on, where I could get some credit or some rewards, if you will, for doing this skill up, you know, learning challenge. And it could have helped when you're first starting the game. This is probably the first place you want to go. So you go all the way here. These check marks won't be here when you first start. And you go into each of these. We won't go into them because they're basically, you can get it just from watching. You see basics of attacking. Once you complete this, right, say you go in and it will be like, dribble the ball, shoot the ball. You complete that and you get the experience 10,000 training program times 3, right? This training stuff that you're seeing here with the green cone, that will go into when you purchase, let's say, a standard player and they're an 83 rated. I'm just making up the rating. And they have 27 levels to go up. These training programs are what helps you elevate those players. So you're absolutely going to need these training programs. So having these in every single thing plus other rewards is huge. So you complete that, you go basics of defending, and look here, you're a startup player, right, when you're completing these typically, so you get a Trent Alexander-Arnold. If I would have noticed this earlier, I could add a player that could have absolutely helped me out as I was kind of building my team at first. I didn't even get this Trent Alexander in time. By the time I got him, I didn't even need to use him. It would have been helpful. So hopefully you don't miss out on this. Not to mention, these little training tips are huge for startup players, especially players like me who are lifelong FIFA players. FIFA has been around the longest, so much, many of us, when we come into eFootball, if we didn't play PES back in the day, or even if we did, we probably, had a break before eFootball came out. So whether you're brand new to football games altogether, or you played FIFA your whole life, now you're in eFootball, or whatever the case is, this is a good area for you. You complete this, you get Trent. Learning the through pass. You learn the through ball, which is absolutely incredible and very unique to eFootball. It has a unique feel to it, but they did a great job with the mechanics of this and many things as well. Here you get 50 eFootball coins, which if you're a FIFA player, this is equivalent to, I guess you could call FIFA points, right? These coins are what you can actually use to then go in and buy like the contract players that you saw there on that big preview video, the Rudiger, Rojo, McAllister. This is where you can, or these coins are what you would get after you, say, put your own money in through your credit card. Boom, you get these coins. So you get 50 of those. That's pretty huge. Nominating contracts after you learn the lofted pass. You get 5-star, 4-star, 3-star players. There'll be more of that deeper in the video, so I won't get too far into that, but it's essentially a player pick for you, right? Tight possession, another training program from that. Scoring from a cross, a 5-star nominating contract for that. That's the highest star player you can get in a nominating contract. Then you got score with the target player. More training programs there. A wall of steel, which is a defensive drill, right? Training programs for that as well. Then quick counters, more training programs. And last but not least, win by golden goal rules. So you essentially just are in an open match and you score a goal on the most easy difficulty AI, and you get 50 more eFootball coins. So right here off of this, you get 100 coins, which you'll see later on is at least one player selection in any of the promos, right? You get a chance at winning a player right there just from completing these simple steps and learning along the way. So, now that you're done with your skill up, which is essentially the training video, or training series for eFootball, whatever you want to call it, you then go over one, and you have Match Pass. There will be other little shortcuts to get to Match Pass, but this is the main access area, if you will. So you go into Match Pass. Just like any game you play with Match Pass, it's just like you think. As you grind the game, you go up in levels, you get a ton of different training. Along the way, you get different star contract players, right? Sometimes you get eFootball coins. And then, within eFootball, there's 3 different levels. The free level, which is right here, you see regular. Then there's the value team pass, where you see here you get a player with this. You get Thomas Muller. And then you get a little bit better rewards, right? As you go, and not only that, you see a lot. Some of them are the same, some of them are better. For instance, here, instead of a 5-star contract, you actually get eFootball coins, 40 of them. Which the only other way to get these, besides earning them through this kind of thing, is literally purchasing them with your money. So that's huge. Then, not only do you get better rewards, but here is where the regular Team Pass ends. As the season's still going, you get more rewards with the Value Pass, right? And it's the same thing, but at a higher level with the Premium Pass. You saw there you got, I believe it was a Trent Alexander-Arnold. This goes the furthest along with rewards. So you get rewards literally from the start to the finish of the season, right? And then you get even more like things like 5-star contracts and eFootball coins and stuff like that. So it's just each level's better. You have to purchase each one of these. You see the different costs. Why you see here this value is cut in half is because last season I wanted this free player that you typically get every season. So I bought the Premium Pass at half price. Your first purchase of either of these, the value or the premium, is half price. So now the premium, I took that one-time deal as a new player. I won't get that again, but I can get the value player pass now, right? Which is typically 400 e-coins, and for me it would be 200. And then you see your e-coin total, eFootball coins, whatever you want to call it. You see the total at the top. I have 1,630. That's left over for the future. I know I'm going to be playing the game more. That was left over from the players that I got previously. I'll tell you how that works when we get into that. Again, you see in the top right corner, you would click the start button and you can go where you can purchase eFootball coins. We'll go into the main, access area for that though, so we won't go into there now. At the bottom, everything you need to know about these team passes is right here, right? Not all of this is just like legal mumbo jumbo, if you will. Some of this has valuable information. So just like before, read through, where I gave you the example where if I would have scanned through this for the player signing that we had through objectives, I could have got my player earlier. So it's worth it to at least skim through this. You don't have to read a lot of it, but some of it can be helpful. Then you can press triangle to unlock, right? It'll show here you can use coins. I have the coins to buy this right now, but for me, I am only going to unlock this, if I see there's a ton of training programs I'm going to need, because you can add this stuff up, right? As you get players in the future, you are going to need these, so it's not a bad idea to stack this up if you're going to keep playing. But the good news is, if I go and decide to buy, the premium or the value, like right here, right? Here's where I'm at with the new season. It just started. Where these check marks are, I'm right here. If I decide right here or here or here to buy either the value or the premium, I will get all these rewards with it, including this player. So it's no rush. Right now, I don't really find the need for it, at least in this season. So maybe next time, maybe I'll get to the point where I'm always every season buying these, at least the value, maybe the premium, or maybe not. We'll see. But for right now, I don't have it. I don't want to buy it. I'm saving those coins. So that's the match pass area. Moving on, objectives, a variety of objectives for you to complete. So first of all, you see the big eFootball trophy. That's for the eFootball Championship 2025 Open. Essentially, like the best players in eFootball battle for this. It's awesome to watch. I've watched like past streams of it just as I was getting into eFootball, and man, it just shows you the levels there are in eFootball. So that's just a little side note of what that trophy is, a real life trophy, and it's awesome too. So going into objectives, right? So you see here, this is Open Round 1, Starter Volume 2, right? So I'm nowhere near any type of competitions for this. I'll give you an example. In FC, there's big variation in level of pros. And that's the funny thing is, like, sometimes when you hear pro, people think of only seeing those players at the actual world championships, but there's so many different levels of pros, right? There's all these different tournaments that go on that are both hosted tournaments from the game itself. There's also third-party tournaments. A lot of the top pro players will host tournaments for, mid and lower level pros. There's different leagues around the world, and so there's all these different levels, and we're nowhere near that. We're rookies in this game. But in FC, I'm at the lower rungs of that, and one of the funnest things in FC since 2002 has been having something to work towards, to try to become the best player I could be individually, right? And see how far I could get. And it's just like playing as a kid and you grow up and you say, I want to be a pro one day. And you start at like 5 years old, and then you get to, like, for me in real life, I got to the highest level you could get, amateur. Right before you go to, I'm from the United States, it would be the MLS, the highest pro league in the U.S. I got to the next highest level below that, and it all started off with me as a kid saying I want to be pro. I equate that, it's similar to this, right? I think eFootball, one of the coolest things about it is there is a path to kind of this greatness as far as how you can play the game. And you'll see why as you learn the game. There's so many details. There's such a huge skill gap for sure. And I love that sort of thing. So if you're like me, just know that that's in the game. But these are just objectives. That was kind of a side note, if you will, just around this trophy and everything. But within these different events, like the Open Round 1 Starter, Volume 2, they give you objectives. And you can get booster tokens. We'll talk about what those do. You can get these. This is a different version of, what would you call that? Currency. So where you see the G points, if you will, different from the E points, this is your currency in game. This is how you would buy, for instance, like the standard players. You can trade them in for position training program, which is a way to give your players alter positions. Skill training gives them extra skills. We'll talk about that more in the actual, game plan, which is where more of that stuff will come in handy. Now, moving on, you can see here too, real quick. The event schedule details are subject to change without prior warning. Pay attention to some of this stuff. That's just a vague one, but there is a lot of information in this game. I will just say this once. I won't point it out, but you'll see as we go through. There's different fine print like this. Sometimes you have to click and see the details and skim through it. Other times it will just be at the bottom. I would say, especially as you start off with eFootball, pay attention to these sort of things, because a lot of the time the explanations, further explanations, are right there on the screen, right? And it will help you understand things a lot more. I missed a lot of this stuff at first. Again, I'll show you examples of this and where it kind of would have helped me to know what I'm telling you now. All right, so you'll see this. I completed these challenges. It'll tell you what you completed. These are the awards I get once I complete these challenges. International Cup qualifiers. This is the same thing. This right here, completing these, is how I got that player I signed. All right. Now look, different from here. When I went into here, along the bottom, right? If I scroll down, sorry, I'll go back into here because I want to go into this. If I scroll down, I completed these 3. I still have, emerged victorious versus AI matches. When I was doing this, I thought I had to complete every one of these before I get my player signing, okay, which I got Serge Gnabry. I'll show you more on the list. All I would have had to do is click into details, and I could have seen right here the exact information on it, and I would have known when I could get my player. I would have added them earlier, right? So that's what I mean. That's just one example. I was thinking all these have to get completed. Well, I didn't finish this yet, so I almost went and played AI matches for no reason, which I still will get that. Why not? It's super easy. A little shortcut, just this is a bonus tip for you. Anytime you have these challenges that say versus AI, you can go to where we saw skill ups, and in that very last challenge it says win by golden goal. Even though I completed that challenge versus the AI, I can do that as many times as I want, and every time I do, it counts as a game versus AI. So it's a super sped up process of getting these versus AI objectives completed. So I complete 3 more of those. It'll take me literally a minute, 2 minutes tops, and I get 10,000 GP. Easy money, as they say. So I'm not going to go through all these, but might as well. There's just 2 more. The Ramadan, this is one. You have different objectives as I go. I finish these, play tour events, score goals in tour event matches, emerge victorious, and then career objectives, right? No expiration on these. This is just like you see tour event matches, total, keep clean sheets in tour events, tour event wins. Let's go all the way down. You can see play with possession game as a team play style. So you can see here I've only used long ball counter, for instance. Once I play 100 matches, I can get 2,000 GP. If I ever play with the possession game style, I'd have to play with it 10 times. I get 2,000 GP, right? So long ball, I have to use it once, play with quick counter. The funny thing, I didn't even notice it till now, but we'll go into this more. The more popular play styles, you have to play way more games, right? The less popular ones, you don't. It's funny. So only 3 games for the out-wide team play style, but 100 for the quick counter. And then you get these different points. This pink eFootball, right? So you got eFootball. I'll show you right here. So you get these GP, let's call them G points. And then there's eFootball coins. And then you get this, it says eFootball points, right? This pink thing, that's a whole different thing. So there's essentially 3 different things. And then there's even tickets. So we'll go into more of that later on. So you see I even got credit for linking my Konami account and getting the eFootball League wins total, however many games it said. So just stuff like that. Career objectives, you get awards along the way. As you start playing the game, you'll see that little inbox light up a ton of times, and it will continue to light up. Well, that's because you're always getting these objectives and this stuff that's ever changing, as well as career objectives done. So it's constant little rewards like that all the time in eFootball. Okay, so now we're done with the mission section. Let's go to shop. This is where you'll see the different forms of currency. And as you see, there's essentially 3, right? You have your eFootball coins. That's where you literally trade in for money. So I would go in here. It will load up. And you'll see $1 gets you 100, 5 gets you 520, so on and so forth, up to $100. You can also purchase this in these in the PSN store. And then, because I purchased them, they're not here, but they'll actually have bundle deals. For instance, I got a Pep Guardiola and 100 coins for $3. So basically, $1 worth of coins, and then a Pep Guardiola boosted player. He had one booster with another booster slot available. Again, more to that as we go. Just to preface this, so I don't have to keep saying more on that in the future. If I talk about something I haven't discussed yet, once I get to that section, just know that that's when I will discuss it. So don't think I'm not explaining it. So I got a Pep Guardiola and like 100 coins, and then there's a David Villa and like 500 coins for $10, right? So you essentially get a little bundle deal. They'll probably add more of those as we go, or maybe they're one-time offers for like so far. Even though I'm at the early part of my journey, I haven't seen any more bundles since the Pep and then the David Villa, which was a cluster of players. I think it was like 5 players. But you also see something pretty cool here. You see what you get free. So for $100, you're paying for 9,900 e-coins. However, you get 12,000 total because since you bought so much, you get 2,100 free. And they do that all the way down. Now, a little side note here. It's important. A lot of people get mad at Konami saying that, it's pay to win, it's pay to win, it's pay to win. Here's what I'm here to tell you. You can get standard players and add additional skills to them, okay? Which obviously makes them better players and also get some very good standard players. Along the way, you're also going to get different, whether they're boosted players or not, some high quality players. But yes, when you pay money, you absolutely are, and by the way, it's not a guarantee. We'll talk about that as we go into contracts. But when you pay money, you absolutely are getting great players, and you can feel the difference. I'm not going to lie, but not to the extent where it's just the game's unplayable if you don't put in money. That's where it's nonsense, and I'd say eFootball gets a bad rap because you can play, and up to this point, I had been playing just with my free-to-play team. The last little thing I'll say is the way I always look at it is like this. If you're dedicated enough to where this game is like your hobby, right? And then I'm one of those people that believes like, okay, everyone's going to have some vices, let's say. I'll give you my own. I'm not judging anybody else, but me in particular. I don't drink, I don't smoke, I don't do any of that. My hobby is football games. Not just gaming, football games. I'll dabble in some, I'll play GTA 6 when it comes out. I played God of War. But mainly it's football games, and so my vice would be saving some money on the side, not for alcohol, not to go, to concerts, not to go on shopping sprees. That money's put aside for football games. That's how I look at it. Now, no, I don't suggest you put money in if you don't have it, meaning, you're not going to put bills aside so you can have eFootball coins. You shouldn't do that. You're not going to put bills aside when you are going to work with holes in your shoes. You need new work shoes or new school shoes, whatever it is. So spend wisely, but for me, that's how I look at it. I put money aside for this as it is a hobby and it is something that I put a ton of time into. I would almost call it a profession because now that I'm in content creating, these kind of things absolutely drive content, right? So that's my little rant about eFootball coins. This is where you can purchase those. Moving on, you have GP. This is the in-game currency, okay? You earn this. You play a game, you get X amount of GP. You complete objectives, you can get this. Sometimes you'll get coins. Sometimes you'll get points. But you can get GP. And then, look, you'll see here, ton of training programs you can get. I bought the max amount of this, 10,000 times 1. But you can still get, I got one more training program I can buy. Another position training program, 3 of those, and then one more random booster. These 3 things we'll talk about when we get into the game plan section. But these training programs I already went through. I'll show you where you would apply these, but they essentially help you boost your lower level player, like the 83, 84, whatever, all the way up to his highest rating. All right, product details, boom, there you go. More fine print where you can read all that. These eFootball points, you can see where you could trade these in. I have 300 right now. You'll earn X amount on the way. Say I had 5,000, I could go get myself an Mkhitaryan, and I click X on a PlayStation. Boom. I could see all these details. We'll go into all this. It's a whole different section of a ton of information, which is what I love about eFootball, all this different detail. But this is where these E-points can come in. If there's a special uniform here, you could trade in those E-points. You can see if you have enough. I don't have enough for Mkhitaryan, right? You can see these items, right? Same thing with the training programs, just like with the GP. I could exchange, like for right now, I have 300. I could get training programs here with this. I'm even going to show you in purchase one. I just click X, and you'll see confirmation that I want that, and boom, there you go. Now my E points goes down to 175, and then my how many training programs I can get goes down to 7 from 8. So you get it, but that's your 3 different currencies, right? And that's what you can get with those. Then you have packs. Very different if you're coming from FC from their packs. So pay attention here, right? You go in, and this is separate from where you can get the actual players. This is where you can have bundles, right? Or some individual managers and players. I will use Gasparini for an example, because when I first came in, I thought this was crazy. I'm like, who cares about the manager? Like, you know, that's just like for show. Because in FC, besides saying like, oh, do you want to use their real life tactical, you know, how they set up, and you say pretty much always no because you use your own custom tactics. Other than that, just a picture, and then their country is all that matters. And then the league, you can change the league. Well, in eFootball, that is not the case. You will see they're very purpose-driven, very detail-oriented. So, this Gasparini is my new manager. You have 81 days to buy him. You click in. You can see I bought him, but he was $5 worth of E-coins. Now, the reason why I bought him, I'll show you that, because when you click into content, you see for one, you get these training programs times 10, which is huge. But you click in here just like the players. I click X. This is the information you can see on anywhere that has anything on managers, right? And here's the important parts of this. One, you can see age, nationality, team, you know, obviously Serie A. Here it's called Liga Italy. It shows you where you got a manager pack. Gasparini, he was in his own individual pack. You can get him in bundles. I'll go back to that. But in bundles here, that's why it showed the pack. Because here, like when I go into content and click in the bottom it shows where I got him. The Inter Milan pack, 6th of March 25. So it shows you when you got these players. Since this game's been out, there's been a ton of these different promos, different stuff like that. This is a way to just see where you got these players. So with this bundle, obviously you get all these Inter Milan players that can then be boosted up. But as far as the manager goes, I want to show you this. So you go in, you see all that same information, 48, Italy, Inter Milan, Liga Italy. Then you see team playstyle proficiency, right? You saw in the objectives things where it said play, you know, 100 games with long ball counter, play 200 with quick counter. Those are the 2 most popular, right, play styles. And then you have possession game, out wide, and long ball. Now, those numbers that you see, where it's the green 88, the yellow 78, and then the red 60, 51, 43, the higher that number, the better, because your player attributes go up and down based on how well this manager can coach each of these play styles. So it's awesome. Now, what I did at first is I only had a manager that only had 1 green number, the rest were red, right? For example, it was Mikel Arteta, and he only had, from the standard manager list, which we'll go more into that, but he only had the 1 quick counter and the green number, the rest were red. That means that I only could play quick counter with him, right? The plus of having a manager like Inzaghi, having an 88 in long ball and a 78 in quick counter, is that I could play both of those. However, my players' attributes, meaning they'll perform better, right? They'll be better overall players individually with long ball counter. Once I switch, or if I switch to quick counter, their attributes would go down because my manager isn't as good with the quick counter play style, right? Now, another bonus you get is where it says coaching affinity. You see star players plus. Increases experience points for 5-star players, and they will gain, PV players gain, so let me read this out, so I got just confused all that. So the coaching affinity, star players plus, increases experience points for 5-star PV players gain during matches by, wow, they made this semester I did, but increases experience points. 5-star PV players gain during matches by 200%. So I keep saying the points, 5-star PV players. So what it's really saying is increases experience points players gain during matches by 200%, right? The 5-star PV players, you'll see across the bottom there's different stars, right? So I was just reading it like in a different context. But essentially, the most important part of all that craziness I just messed up 5 million times is they gain 200% on these experience points. That's the most important part. We'll get more into experience points later, but each coach will have a different one of these. Now, for Inzaghi, he actually gets a double booster. Now, you'll hear that with players. You'll either have a single boosted player, double boosted player. This manager has 2 boosters. Every player will get a speed boost +1 and a finishing boost +1, right? The above player stats will be boosted. It tells you right there, and then boom, there you go. Now, why I want to go into that is compared into the manager that I bought individually, not collectively. You see here you have an Inzaghi. You could get a company from Bayern Munich. You have a Xabi Alonso, and then you have a Jose Mourinho. So you see Mourinho, he is great with long ball counter, right? You see Mourinho, long ball counter, 88, out wide, 88. You see veteran players plus. So you read here, match experience points gained by players that are 30 or older, 30 years older above, increased by 200%. So they get very detailed, right? So you have some older players, boom, they get experience points that are X 200%. Then you see the booster. He's only got a single booster, which is why you only see tackling, not like Inzaghi where it was like tackling and shooting, right? Now the thing here is long ball counter. That's a very popular play style, but not many, very fewer players play out wide. However, if you play out wide and you see this manager, and then you sometimes want to play long ball counter, boom, this could be a great manager for you. You would go in, you see 500 e-coins, and then here's the details about the player, right? So it's as simple as that. You see a Man United pack, you see Frank Rijkaard. We'll get into Torres in a minute, but this is why I bought Gasperini. For me, in particular, I like playing long ball counter, but I started with quick counter, which is so good offensively. Your players take off. There's so many great runs. Defensively, your players collapsing the ball, immediately trying to win the ball. However, you play a very high line with quick counter, and there's no way to change that. These play styles are what they are. So you have to really get players to adapt to whichever one you choose, and each one, we'll go into more detail on it once we get in, but plays a certain way. So this is very important. Do not just get a manager without looking into this. That's why I'm going to so much detail, right? Why I bought this manager is because I love playing long ball counter, okay? But if I am down a goal and, or maybe I'm tied with an opponent and they're just playing very defensively and I'm having a hard time breaking them down, right? Then I will go quick counter, because in quick counter, say I lose the ball, I don't give them as much time to kind of build up, and then I have to work my way to winning the ball back. Quick counter, you have the fastest chance of collecting the ball, and it's still a counter play where once you win it, your players are pushing forward to try to get a goal. So it's just dangerous, with when the opponent is on the attack, because your players are collapsing on the ball. If your opponent plays quickly and beats that, you are vulnerable defensively. Long ball counter, your players recover deeper, and you have more players behind the ball, and it's just safer defensively. Simple as that. But these two together, what this means is that instead of, one game I got to play long ball counter, I have no idea who I'm playing. Maybe during game I notice, man, I wish I could switch to quick counter. Well, I can't, because my players' attributes will go down tremendously. However, with Gasperini, I can play long ball counter, switch to quick counter, and since he's got 88, right, team play style fit proficiency, I can play both of these and have my players' attributes at a very high level. That's huge. Not to mention, he has a +1 physical contact booster for all of his players. Now, unlike players, you can't add a second booster, right? Which some players you can only take the one they have. We'll go into that. But for managers, there's no adding boosters. They have what they have. Coaching Fendi for Gasperini. Let's see if I can read this one right without messing up 100 times. Increases experience points MF players gain during matches by 400%. So no, I'm just kidding. Midfield players gain 400% experience points here, right? So pay attention to all of this. It is very important. Let me take a brief break because my puppy is whining in the background and he's under my bed. Let me make sure he's not stuck. Baby, come here. Baby. Baby. Baby, come on. Bear, bear. Bear. Bear, bear, come on.
I mean, you try to make a joke about it and say, just for one day. Yeah. Who says that?
What are you whining under there? Stay out from under there. Here. What do you do under there? Crazy? Alright, well, back to it. I have a Shih Tzu puppy that I got from my daughter. And he's, you know how puppies are. Alright, so that's where managers are huge. This is where you can get managers at, right? Now, the cool thing about the bundles, which obviously costs more, but you get a ton of players with it, you get the manager and players. Huge Man United fan? Boom, here's your Man United bundle. Right here, you get Ruben Amorim, you get all these players. That's their max, by the way, rating, meaning this. If you click in, you see Bruno's an 83 here, but here Bruno's a 96. Well, that's because when I click in here, this Bruno has 35 level ups that you have to do first. That's where the training programs go, and you get what I'm saying. So that's where you would get managers and bundles, and then we'll last but not least go into the players you can get. I thought hard about getting this, but I got that David Villa with some coins, right? Who knows? Maybe I still will. I got this really good Team of the Week Holland that I use that maybe Fernando Torres could be a sub for. But anyway, I haven't got him yet. So you can see what you would do here. You click on this, and then boom, I could get him for 500 coins, which I do have, right? And then you would get your Fernando Torres. Even this, you see here, he's an 83. He's got 32 levels. He's got to go up. Now, I will get into this now because, well, no, we'll get into this part on boosting the player up, right? On training the player. So, for instance, you can click through the toggle display. You can see what he looks like in game. You can see here. You can see the booster. You can just get all the information that you get in your game plan part. So you can actually know if you want the player or not, right? Then, here's some more details on the player. Product details, right? There you go. So that's that. So we click out of there. That's everything you need in shop. Now we move on to extras. And as you see me going through this, it's crazy because it's like, I know that they could probably do a better job of streamlining this, but then as you see all the information they give, they do a pretty good job. It's just other games don't have this much detail. So it's easier for them to lay things out. So you do got to give Konami credit here because once, you know, I'm still a newer player and I learned some of this. Do I wish I learned it sooner? Some of it, yes. But as I'm going through this, I'm appreciating just how much info it is and how well they like put certain things in multiple areas for players. Right? That's pretty cool because I'm sitting here going, should I go over this now? Should I wait in this other area? And the fact that they went through and they added this information, not just in one place, but in all these different areas, you got to appreciate that. So now in extras, we'll start and go all the way through. User information, that's just your user details, personal information, all this stuff, right? Match history, which is pretty cool, right? Except for what I wish they did and they don't. This only goes back to 319. This is in a event where I was France, beat a player 3-1. That was on 3. I wish it had my full history because what would be so awesome is that you would actually be able to see, you know, things like what badge I changed from as I went, which that isn't even the cool part. The cool part is seeing how well you've done and how much better you've done as you went through. What you would have seen from me at the beginning, all losses, these huge gaps in between when I played, and now you're seeing way more consistency, and it just gets more and more consistent. What does that mean? That the game's awesome. I have 3 different football games to choose from, and this is by far the best one right now I'm having the most fun with. Maybe I would say overall FC's got the most content, bells and whistles, this and that. I'm never going to, you know, cap as the youngsters say or front or lie, but as far as pure enjoyment, as far as having great servers, right? So you never have to worry about the gameplay being effective, which can ruin it no matter how good the game is. eFootball has done incredible there. So getting back off my soapbox, though, you can see a help screen. That's self-explanatory. Command list, general information, tips. You see here, offense, defense, set pieces, commands. I mean, all this. You can get into all this information, right? Throw in low. Throw in space. See, I didn't even know this. I'm learning something right now with you guys. That's what's insane. So I can select my thrower with the central button. I wanted to do that because one of the skills I have with Vinny that he added, by the way, long throw. Now I know how to do this. I just learned something with you. Like, you go here. Look at this. It's shown next to players with the player skill long throw. Look at that. That just taught me something there. I told you Vinny got long throw added to him. So when I go into throw in and I'm choosing my thrower with that middle button on the PlayStation controller, now I know that the star is a long throw player. And you want them because, for instance, say I want to throw a ball near the goal like a corner kick. Now I can do that and I know which player will do it. Quit chewing on my shoe, puppy dog. Here, chew on that. This dang puppy. All right. Now, throw in low. Let me read this because I don't know. Nope. Get away from there. All right. Let me take care of this real quick because I can see where this is going. All right. Let's take you out here to play. Let's take you out here to play your trouble. I love you, though. I love you, but you got to come out here. Okay, so like I said, very cool. They have all this information, so you can see here. You have the select thrower. You can see who has a long throw with a star. That's huge. Now I know when to do that. So on the left side, I got Vinny. I'm going to be choosing him. Throw in low, X. Throw into open space, triangle. Literally didn't know that. I only was using X. Throw in high, square. All right, so maybe I want to toss it high so I have an aerial player that has like an aerial advantage. I can throw in here and do a knock on. Fake throw in, right? Any throw in plus command X after. So just like a fake shot, you would press, square X, whatever. Triangle X. X, X again. Throw in feint. Off the ball controls, I knew about this one. A cursor appears above a ball receiver's head and this player becomes fully controllable. Press X to have the ball pass towards the player's feet or triangle to have the ball pass into open space, which we saw above. This setting is disabled in co-op. But there you go. Cursor appears above the ball. Yeah. So what you would do is use the right stick and flick it towards whichever player, and then you can run with that player. Run around. Then you just press any of these buttons above as you're manually running with that player, and they'll throw it to that player. So they don't have any of that like FC with the manual runs or player lock or anything like that where you could change the direction, change control. But on throw-ins, they do. And then this is the different ways you could throw it in. Much more detailed than FC, which is the case across pretty much everything, and that's what I love. So there you go. We both learned something there. Now that I know this, I'm going to go through all of this because this is where, here's another example. Select kicker, pass, shoot. I've been having shots right here. Faster shot with the L6, slower shot, curves. Let me see that. Curves, right, curves, left. I've just been clicking O and like kind of moving it a little bit. I have to go read through all of this. So look at this. Trick free kick. First kick taker, press then release to do a fake shot. Immediately afterwards, second free kick taker, press and release L2, then fake shot. This setting is to say, okay, so if you want to do a trick free kick, right, I would have my first kicker, I would just do a fake shot with him, boom, boom, and he would run over the ball. Then the second free kick taker, right, I would press and then release L2 and then do a fake shot. You can practice all these things as you're in there. Here's a layoff. First kick taker, I just hold L1, then X, and it would lay off. If I want the second free kick taker to lay it off, I would just hold L2 instead of L1, and then, hold L2, then L1 plus X. There you go. It will lay it off. As you're in game, though, you can learn all of these. Now, why this is so important and why you see me like kind of reading through is because I'm right there with you, but I want you to skip over the part where you don't know about this stuff, like how I'm learning this, some of this now. I love this part. The only difference is they explain it in a very good way. They sit here and they show you the controller, they show you the buttons. Then you can go into training, which we'll go into in a bit, and do these things. Don't do what I did and learn this stuff like I'm learning some of it now. right? Don't do what I did and go in and just think, oh, it's just like FC. It's not. Once you do learn these things, though, when you take the time, the cool thing is there's like 4 AI divisions. Here's the basic commands, right? So we'll go strategy. You can switch that. So we'll go into more of that once we're in. Actually, for these, I can show you. Holding the up button, it will go to attacking, right? Or ultra attacking. Holding down will go to defending or ultra defending, right? Switching, so preset. So if you do it ×2, that's the level. So this is switch preset. That's sub tactics. So I'll show you more about that in there. We won't go over sub tactics, but the defense level, I can do that here. So you times it by 2, you can go up to attack or ultra attack, go down or down twice. It will go defense or ultra defensive. Self-explanatory, right? Your team is more attacking. If you're down by a goal, you need a score. You're up, you want to play more defensive. You would click down either once or twice, right? And then you can play with that in like exhibitions or wherever and see just how attacking or how your team changes and how it changes defensively. For this, we'll go into more details later, but if I hold up or hold down and I have my sub tactic on, you actually can set up. So maybe I'm in a 4-3-3, but then I have a sub tactic, right? Only configurable by leader in co-op matches. Controls will differ. Okay, so that's for co-op. You can also switch for set pieces as well. I did not know that. Okay, so I can switch my sub-tactic on for set pieces, I guess. We'll go more into that, you know. You can go more into that as you're learning too. But these things are huge. Don't be like me learning some of this now. Know from this video where to go into and then learn this stuff and go in and take the time. But for presets, I'll show you once we get in there why it's huge to know this. So that's what you do. So either up and up twice for attack and ultra attack, down and down twice for defense, defensive or ultra defensive. Very simple. Something like that was in FC before they changed it. So there you go. That is all from your help list and commands. General information help list in every single mode. Look at this. Want some information? Here you go. You want to know about boosters? Right? Look at this. Foil players are special standard players and may have a different playing style than their standard counterpart. Foil players are currently unavailable for signing. But there you go. I mean, it tells you everything you need to know. What does a booster do? How to sign players, man. I mean, go through all of this. Think about this. This would be like a freaking 5-day video. And here's the thing, though. You don't need to spend 5 days. You can go in here as you're going. And some of this stuff comes across. Skim through it, okay? And then for me, I'm skimming through it just like I just saw, like on the sub-tactics or the different throw-ins. I see something. Oh, what do AI playstyles do? Oh, defines how the AI will control the player that has possession of the ball. Okay, this will only apply if the AI is controlling the player. Okay, so if I'm controlling the player, they don't have those AI skill listed. Okay, boom. Oh, this is what all those mean. So a trickster is, okay, you get what I'm saying? This is where you find that, in this help section. Tips, look at this. All these tips show like when the game's loading up. This is where you can get them all. Now, I just learned something. I'm going to actually call it out because I've heard this. There's this Medenza guy that I haven't minded, but people say like he does some goofy stuff, some Connie type stuff. This son of a gun released a video where he said, only do you see these in the loading screen. There's nowhere else to see them, but I have compiled them for you. So instead of just randomly reading these tips that you get in the loading screen, you don't know how many they are, find them all here. The only other place. Bro, they're in help under tips. So I didn't know that till just now, but I like sat there and watched a lot of that video. I can come here and go through all these. So in the loading screen, you'll see these randomly, but why not take your time? Smart assist on attacking, shooting, gauge power and ball trajectory are chosen automatically. Stunning shots and controlled shots are automatic. You can read, oh, what's a stunning pass? By pressing R2 fully while passing, the power gauge will turn blue. Well, what does that mean? Well, you'll be able to perform a quick and incisive pass. However, keep in mind that it will take longer for the ball to leave the player's feet, so attempting the pass while free from the opposition might be a better option. True. When you do these stunning passes, they have more zip to them, more accurate, but it takes longer. So if a defender is closing down on you and you try this, they'll take the ball. You have to pick and choose when to do a stunning pass or a stunning shot wisely. All this you can learn Here, all those little tips that you find helpful while the game's loading, this is where you go. There you have it. I just learned something new too. You go into help. Support, you can link your Konami ID here. I've already done that. Personal settings, legal privacy, balance, blah, 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 blah. You see what I'm saying? What's this balance sheet? Oh, wow. That shows, that literally has all of my player release. So you can literally track all that. You can see when you sign certain players. And you can see what you bought too. Like how many coins you bought. Look at this. It shows you the player I released and the player I signed. Look at this. That is cool. I can literally see the date that I signed every different player when I made certain coins. I mean, come on, man. The detail in this game. I mean, when will you ever need that? I don't know. Man, I've had Vinny for so long. I don't know. Boom. You can see when you sign him right here in balance sheet. Unavailable list. A list of players and managers who will no longer be able to use beyond the stipulated date. Check out the news section for more on that. Wow. Jesus Navas. Standard edition. Wow, because they're retiring or whatnot. So there you go. You can find out if your favorite player is no longer going to be able to be used. Managers. Let's see if there's any big names that we see in here. Let's see. I don't see any big ones. I wonder if they've ever had Sir Alex Ferguson in here yet. Because if they have, I got to get Sir Alex, my favorite manager of all time. So there you go. You can find out players and managers that can't be used, right? It shows you the version in the live update, whatever information in the corner. So that's for support. Then this settings part is important. So you have your screen, I'm going to skip over controller on purpose. Here's the audio, language, camera. For me, I'll just give you a little side note. If you're using the regular camera and you find that in eFootball you want to see more options, more players than what the regular camera is, yes, you won't be able to appreciate as many of the details. But for now, for me, I used to go co-op in FC2, and they have a tele-broadcast. The way it looks now is a little bit better, so I use that in the mini-map sometimes. But for some reason, the way eFootball is, I just appreciate the player movement and knowing, being 2, 3, 4 moves ahead. And to do that, I have to see more of the players, more of the pitch. So I use Blimp. This is where you can change that right here. You can also click in and go custom, but watch this. Oh no, let me switch in here. Usually you have to go in. Oh yeah, when you go custom, then you change the height and the zoom and all that. So when you go custom, you would actually do that in like your, you would go to a game, right? It would be on Blimp, say, then you would go to custom and change the height and zoom from there. Now for this, you can look up the most popular custom settings on that. I tried the most popular one, I think it was 10010 or 0100. Look it up. Don't take my word. You'll know what 0100 means when you look it up. It's like height, zoom, and something else. You do that within the game in-game screen, and you can see if you like it. For me, I like Blimp. Yes, it's higher up. Yes, for a lot of people, the player look like dots, but you can appreciate once you see like 4 different runs going on at once, and you can see where, oh, I'm going to play to him, then to him, then to him, and you could see where you could miss it on a regular camera. But anyways, that's where you would change that. Now going into controller, super important. You can configure up to 4 different controllers. You can choose vibration on or off. For me, config 1. So controller, config 1. Okay. Now look, config 1 and used by controller 1. I click in again. And now if you look on offense and defense, it has the controls. I have, well, before we go into advanced settings, I have under my preset, you press square, standard and alternate. If you're under standard, eFootball has their own like particular controls. Like I think shoot is square, but whatever it is, that's what it would come out as. If you're a lifelong FC, FIFA player, whatever, don't worry, because you can go to alternate, which is what I have mine set on, and then all the controls as you see here: shoot, circle, pass, X, triangles, through, but all the controls are the exact same as FC. All the controls that they have that could be the same. So they did this on purpose. So for you, you go into the game, you see like they do the little practice page before you can change your controls. It's all wonky. Don't worry, you can change it to fit the FC controls, right? And then that's where you do it at. You go into controller under game settings, config 1 again, preset. Choose standard or alternate. For you would choose alternate if you want to go FC. Then, this is important too. Go into advanced settings. Remember I said always look at across the top and across the bottom to see if there's extra information. Here's where the preset can be changed and advanced settings. Smart Assist off, right? Configure your Smart Assist settings. So when I click in, it tells you too. If it's on, this option provides automated help with the controls. For example, it will select the power of a shot or the direction of a dribble according to the situation. This allows you to enjoy matches without complicated input. If you had a little kid playing the game or something, there you go. You could turn this on, but heck no. You don't want the power of the shot or the direction. No, you're choosing that. Cursor change, semi-assist. It will show you all this on the bottom. This, I had it level 3. I've since changed. As you go up, it gets auto assist is turned off. Passes are controlled using L and the power gauge only. Passes are controlled using the left stick and the power gauge only. So meaning there's no assistance. You see where I'm at, level 2. Auto assist with pass targeting, power, and accuracy. Adjust pass, power, and accuracy using the L. Now, I did level 3 for a while, and I noticed I was having some problems and went to level 2, but I was having the same. I'm literally going back up to level 3 because, so look at the difference. Auto assist with pass, targeting, power, and accuracy. This one, auto assist with pass, power, and accuracy. Targeting is not auto assisted. The power and accuracy you do have assistance on, right? You are choosing your own target. Adjust pass, power, and accuracy using the left analog stick and the pass button. This one, adjusts pass, power, and accuracy using left analog stick and the pass button. So the main thing that switches here is targeting. I'm going back to level 3 because sometimes, like when players are near each other or whatnot, it will choose the target for you, and I don't like that. What I want to work to eventually is level 4, where there's no auto assist. Literally exactly where you press the left analog, right? And then how much you power it is where the pass will go. I am going to experiment on this with AI matches because I think I could be ready to use it now. I just got to see how accurate it is with the left stick. But the reason why I really want to use this is because there's many times where you're using the AI. Remember, it's not as manual with the runs. There's many times where the pass will be just off where I want it. Since I can't control the runs, if I could be in more control of the pass angle, that could make up for it, right? It's not the exact same, but it could be similar. So I'm working my way up there. I had level 3. I went back to level 2 to experiment. I'm actually going to keep it on level 3. Tackle type, you can choose shoulder charge or standing tackle. Shot type, basic or manual. You can do that. I stick to basic, which the shot's direction is assisted after choosing between left, right, or center of the goal. I wish I could go manual on here, but I just can't right now, especially with where I'm at. Like, man, I'm still getting better and better at precision, right? Because you have to use an FC, precision shooting, which is similar to what this would be manual. And even then, sometimes there's issues. And part of it's, as you're learning, it's tough to learn. It's like a challenging thing. But the other part of it is it's not like a perfected craft, I'll say. So with that being said, I'm sticking to basic. Maybe one day we'll get to manual. But you get the point. You go through all this, and you can simply look up online for the help on, some of this stuff you want more detail on, right? To make sure you choose the right thing. We could do a whole nother video on that. But honestly, for where I'm at, I'm not ready to do like a detailed video on this yet. Once I am able to, I'll release that in my own words because I think sometimes people aren't as thorough in their explanations. I like to be, as you can see, very thorough. If I don't explain something that well, I will like literally re-explain it within that same sequence just to make sure everyone understands. So this is where you can change all of those detailed settings. You simply go into the advanced settings on your controls. All right, so going back, we have all that done. And the last but not least, a very important section. You can go into training, right? Now this is what I thought was like, oh, this is their training section. But this is different, right? You've seen the training games, I guess you could call them. That's the very most basic controls that you need to know. And then you get rewards for it. But this is where you can truly go and learn the details. And this is where eFootball first caught my eye. And I started realizing, like, wait a second. This isn't your average, just like, this isn't FC. This is a different thing. So let me show you what I mean. Boom. And you can choose your dream team or an authentic team. Now, if you're just starting, you have a team full of 60s and they're not very good, you can choose an authentic team that they have, whether it's Bayern Munich, Man United, whoever. My team's pretty good right now. I'm going to choose to train with my team. You can go to free training, free kick training, left corner, right corner, and even penalty kicks. Okay? Let's go into free training, and I'll show you how cool this is. Now I'm in free training, and I'm not going to go into each of these because I could do a full video on this as well. And I will be doing all these videos, by the way. I wasn't quite sure how, much I was going to be playing eFootball, and that's still, I got to still see how, like, FC is going to fit in. But slowly but surely, this game's taking 100% of my interest up, meaning, like, the way I'm doing my channel is I feel like the passion really shows in the videos, right? So I've been doing more of what I wanted to do as opposed to, like, I'll give you an example. I got to top 10 in the world in UFL, then wanted to help players. So that's literally what I based my channel off of. It wasn't when I wasn't streaming like my FC Pro Ladder or FC Pro Cups or anything like that, or how to get to Elite Division. It was literally UFL at a time when FC was in the gutter. And so that's still my most watched, like, out of the 3 football games, right? Then I went to FC because they had the post-patch and they did a good job. Then I went to eFootball because there were some awesome members of my community that were like, you really should try eFootball. Like, you would love it. You'd be perfect for it because of the way, like, I love this detailed stuff. And there is no more detailed game than eFootball. As you can see with their controls. So you got the dribbling, right? All the passing, the shots, they're basics. You move your right analog over, basic controls on defense. Move your right analog, basic dribbles, right? The dash dribble, which is like, I'll show you real quick. So I'm moving, and I just R2 twice. Oh, that's like a knock-on. Okay, that's called a dash dribble. Very effective, all right? So, not to mention I'm using my players, which I have a Mbappe. So I know how to do moves now, but I didn't at first, using the right stick, right? So, different players I learned also have different moves. I just click that middle button, it shows you right there. I move over, I can learn how to do traps, right? Like trapping the ball as I receive it. So wait, oh, a trap feint, oh, a flick, oh, hold R3, so wait a second. I can go practice that, so now I hit X. So I pass it back to Mbappe, click in R3, as I pass it, and boom. He flicks it up just a little, watch. As I turn, boom. See how he flicked it up? I'll do it towards the... Boom. So I learned that. And then I would just simply go press that middle button again, right? And it will pause it. And then you can do passing, crossing. Oh, wait, crossing. Low cross times 2. Early cross. L1 plus any type of cross. Hold on. Let me try that. Let me see how that works. So I press X. So if I hold L1 and double tap square, oh, we'll do an early low cross. Very cool. The goalie kicks it out, and then you can keep going like this. I'll show you just a little preview. A stunning cross, which I was saying. So stunning cross, so it's early cross, L1. Plus I want to do stunning R2. And square, boom, to the back post. And it's very accurate. See what I'm saying? Then I press the start button again, and I go over. Shots. Kicking techniques, kick feint, dummy kicks, feints. Another cool thing that I learned on here, these 1-2 passes, the way they do this, they call it forwards and crossover. I call it vertical and horizontal give and goes. And I'll show you what I mean by that, okay? So if I hold L1 and X, the player runs away from the ball. If I hold R1 and X, the player runs across. So where can this be useful? Haaland's got the ball, right? And I'm holding L1, boom, he goes through. So, again, Vinny's got the ball out wide. And now I want to do R1 and X. He's coming across behind me. Boom. Boom. I lay it back. Bam. See what I'm saying? So it's not just your typical give and go. It could be a cross. So you got the ball all the way out wide. Boom. He comes across. Give it up. Back. Through. See what I'm saying? Like, there's tons of stuff you can create off of this. And that's what I love about it. You can get very detailed. So once the goalie kicks it, okay, now I press the start button, and I scroll through, and I can go all the way through. Oh, keepers, I always forget, and I have the community to help me. But keepers, You get all this if you're manually controlling them. Goalkeeper trap, hold R3 before trapping the ball, only when you're controlling the goalkeeper, right? Auto positioning, if I want to hold L2 and then use L to fine tune positioning. So if I'm the goalkeeper, I hold L2, boom, I can move my left stick and put them perfectly, I guess, for like free kicks and stuff. If I want to switch the goalkeeper, notice how I can do that. I hold L1, plus I can move the R3 button left and right. So I'm, say somebody's attacking me and I want to move the goalkeeper, L1, click in R3, and I move it, right? Because if I don't click it in, it's just R2. I move, or wait, L1 plus R. Oh, you don't have to click it in. So when you move the goalkeeper in FC, it's just you click it in. Here, if I hold L1 and then move the right analog stick left or right, then I can move my keeper. So again, learn something new. Obviously, I haven't really been moving my keeper, so we just learned that. But this is what I mean. Don't do what I did. Go in here and take the time to learn all this stuff. I promise you, you will appreciate the game more. You will see why it's so awesome. You will spend time just in here. Put on some music, a podcast in the background, and just start practicing and get used to getting the ball and doing nice turns. Like I used to get the ball and I would try to like just turn with my left analog stick. And look how like one-dimensional that is. And then look at this. That's right stick only. That's the right stick. It's similar to left stick. See that turn as opposed to this is what I would do. And it would just be this wide turn. And then I started realizing you can do like moves off of your... You know what I mean? You can do moves or receives off of your touch instead of getting the ball, and I would just be so stiff trying to go, and I would get the ball taken every time. Then all of a sudden I started going boom, popping it up, doing fancy stuff like that, and then blowing the shot over like that. And honestly, probably did. So you get what I'm saying. I don't want to spend too much time because that's, again, all these could be like almost whole different videos. You could do whole videos, like when you go into extras and go, you could literally do whole different videos on this general information. You could do whole different videos on this command list. Look at this. I mean, come on, guys. It's insane. So take the time to learn all this. So that's the screen and extras. So now, recap. We've been over home, missions, shop, extras. Okay? We've gone through all of this. Now, we're ready to go through the bottom. We've just scratched the surface. Haven't even gotten to the games, and you can learn all this. Here's how I strongly suggest you do it. Your brain can only take so much, so do not go into the training and think you're going to learn this all in like an hour, 2 hours. Take some of it, right? Maybe go through, okay, today I want to work on some shooting, some passing, whatever, and then take it into the games, right? And then go back in, learn some more, take it back into the games. And you will get better and better and better. And then you notice you're getting burned on this. Okay, go into the training. How do I hold L2 to face up and sort of like jockey with or face up to the attacker. Okay, now I'm going to work on doing that. Oh, I can use my right stick to trap the ball and do different traps. Okay, I'm going to start doing that. Like, slowly but surely, use it, learn it, train it a little bit, and then take it into a game, and then you'll get better and better. No different than real life football. That's the beauty of it. All right, so now let's get into this menu across the bottom, starting with match. Once again, you go into match. And you got a million things, which isn't a bad thing. I know it can be overwhelming at first, but having all these options is actually awesome. So we'll start with, I want to go from right to left instead. Simple stuff. Exhibition, self-explanatory. Friend match, you and a buddy, or you and co-op, a couple buddies can get in and play a match. Quick match, you can go online and play a match that doesn't count against your ranking or isn't part of promotion or demotion in the league. Just like practicing, right? Boom, but against online users. Huge. Then, this is the coolest part that I think the FC needs to take note of, but it's my league. So you can play versus AI matches over the course of a season. You can literally you can see where it says dream and authentic, okay? authentic, where that you can only use authentic teams in an exhibition, for instance, would be like AC Milan versus Germany versus Man United versus Man City, whoever. Dream is your team that you actually have that we'll go into and look at mine in a bit, but like their ultimate team, your ultimate team basically. But here it's called the Dream Team. You can use your Dream Team in an verse AI league over the course of a season, and you can choose your season, right? So notice this, by the way. How cool is that? So I want to show you this. So look, you have a regular season. You're playing Arsenal. They come up with it. Competition info. You get My League points, by the way. They got their own My League thing. So it's literally their offline mode they came up with. Similar to like a career mode in FC. But guess what? You can't do an FC. You can't use your ultimate team. All you can do with your ultimate team is like squad battles and stuff. Brilliant move by Konami to say, okay, yeah, we don't have like the pro clubs in the manager mode with all the deep story modes and stuff. But guess what we will do? We'll create our own league with a dream team. So I'm not saying how deep it is or not deep it is, but you have your own objectives. Or no, that's just regular objectives. I'm sorry. But clearly you have your own objectives. See the challenges. Use lone players and win one match. Records. You have your record here you can keep, right? I'm Man United, but you see here, these are my players from my dream team. And then they gave me, these are some of my players. They gave me some loan players. So let's look at those. So this is a preview of like my team. Where did my loan players go, man? Thought they gave me some loans. I have no idea where they went. But either way, those loan players that they said I could have, or I guess would be somewhere. But you can look into this if you do this. Is this there's Gasparini. I could use Gasparini. Boom. Team. You can go and auto pick players. Let's see. Auto pick players. No changes by stats. So by stats, that would be my team. There we go. So I don't know where those lone players went, but either way, if you're into this, am I? No. But could this be something you are into? Yeah, absolutely. It's very cool to be able to use your dream team in the league. My son, he plays competitive soccer right now, and he doesn't have much time to do like ultimate team at the level that like in FC, and that's one of his gripes because he's good enough to win up to like divisions where it's almost too much for him since he's not putting time in. He still wants to do ultimate team though. He doesn't just want to do manager mode. He could easily be doing this. Right? There you go. There's Ultimate Team, but in an offline manner. And you could still be doing these events, which we'll get into, and then we'll go into the very last thing, the eFootball League. You go into events, you have versus AI events, which is what, like, say you don't want to even play users. You only want to play AI. Here you go. You could take your dream team, and there's sometimes where you use regular teams too. And you could do all these events versus AI, and you choose the difficulty level. And then within those, you get rewards. You see here, I completed this one with English clubs. You can still do it more, and you can actually still get more rewards. But we'll go ahead and I'll show you an example. Here's a co-op event where you can earn rewards and do co-op. Spanish clubs. I'll show you how one of these events work. This would be similar to like, I guess, champs or something in FC, right? You have your league or whatever, your division rivals, and then you have champs. I wish eFootball had something more like spectacular, if you will, like champs. Everyone looks forward to champs. It's iconic. So it's not like that with eFootball, but they do have stuff outside their divisions, what would be like their division rivals. So here's their events. So you would go in, and the unique part of this is you can use any players you have that meet, like for instance, that are on Spanish clubs because that's the challenge. But your other players, you will get loan players. So I'll show you. So right now, you see game 1, right? And I had lost 1-0. I am Atletico Madrid. I chose Atletico Madrid. I lost 1-0. So you see 1 of 3 games. You get 3 shots at getting it. And if you win, you get 50 football coins. So I go into my game plan. And you see here, I have to replace 2 players from the team I had. So I had a Pep Guardiola, I have Rafinha, Sorloth. All these are loans, the ones with the time on them. I have Vinny left. I would go into reserves, right? I think I could put Courtois in there. Yeah, because he's a goalie. Reserves, center back. I'd have to choose a center back that works. It's from a club. Not to add. So, for instance, boom, there we go. There you go. So I'm Atletico Madrid. Obviously, they don't have all the licenses, which again, in Ultimate Team, who cares? You get to know which teams are which teams. All the players are right. So that's the cool part. I don't care if they don't have the regular badges. It is what it is. So I'll actually use automatic by stats. I can see where they're going to change the players, but no, I can't do that because by event. So there you go. So by stats, this would be the best team. By event, this is a team I have to use because I need players from this. So this right here chooses the best team for me. There you go. I don't even got to mess with it, right? Boom. So I have my Rudiger, which this is interesting. I just realized this. I thought because these players only had they were with their national teams, right? You have Uruguay, Germany, that I could not use them in these events, but apparently, let's see, I can. Okay, so these Showtime players, even though they're with their national teams, I can use them in these events. So there you go, pretty solid squad because I have a lot of these players. I have a lot of Spanish league players, La Liga players. Very cool. But then obviously I couldn't use like Maldini, who's Italian league, Van Dijk, who's English league. So then I'd go in, I'd play these, I'd get these rewards. You can't do the second part unless you win one here. You can't do the third part until you win one here. So it's a 3-win event. Now, if you click in and see at the bottom, event settings, right? Gradually increase search area. There's the team objectives up here. So there's no objectives in. Where would it be where I can go and look at the details? There's an area. So I want to make sure I show you. There it is, information. So right here, it's under information. I click in and check this out. Here's all the teams, all Liga teams you can be. Challenge 1, win 1 match. You get 3 matches to win 1 in each of them. First time around, I get 50 coins. But say I want to do that first level 1, let's call it. A second time, I can only get 100 GP. Here I get skill training program, second time 100 GP. 2 times skill training program if I win the third one. Second times onwards, every time I get 100 GP, 100 GP, 100 GP. There you go, there's some more information on it. So see, this information can be valuable. At the very least, it just shows you the first time around. Those are pretty good rewards. You can get those. I use these a lot of times to warm up. That's where I lost that one game. I have to redeem myself. And you're not using your exact team, but you're still using some of your players, whatever players you have from like the Spanish leagues or for this one, the English leagues. And these always update. Same with the AI cups, right? They'll have different, restrictions, and you can get rewards. So moving on to the very last part. We are talking about the eFootball League. Now, you see here, I'm Division 5. You start out Division 10. For Division 10s, 10 through 7, you basically play AI. Every once in a while, you'll match another newbie in Division, and then like randomly between Division 10. I played one in Division 9 before. I played one in Division 7, but it's random. Vast majority is versus AI, and if you do play an opponent, another user opponent will be another brand new player. Essentially, though, you don't start playing user opponents till Division 6. At first, I thought this is dumb, man. Can you imagine doing this in FC? But guess what? I know that Konami realizes that there is a lot to learn in this game. And if I could go back in time, my initial 3 times I gave the game a shot. 3 times I couldn't see what some people liked about it. Which is, I know there's a lot of players like me. I'm trying to help change that, because if I would have just gave this game the proper chance, I would have used Division 10s through 10s. I keep saying 10 through 7 to do all the training, to learn all this detail that I'm telling you about, and I could have hit the ground running. But I didn't, and so I learned the hard way, and then I started getting my butt kicked in Division 6, Division 5. Never even was a thing at first, then I got to Division 5. Then slowly but surely I got to where I made it to Division 3, and that was only because I started listening to my community, once I became a content creator. But my first couple go-arounds was before I was a content creator, turning it on playing it like it was FIFA, and it's never going to work if you do that. So you see all the information you have here, right? So I can go to information. Look, outline, eFootball League is an online. You got that general information. Divisions 4 through 10 are played in rounds. Achieve division promotion by reaching the amount of points, which I'll show you that. In divisions 1 through 3, you'll be playing ranked matches, right? Your rating changes with the outcome of each match. It goes up as you win, down as you lose. Promotion and relegation is decided once you reach a certain rating. That's how you get from 3 to 2, 2 to 1. But once you get to Division 3, you're with the big boys. You're playing anybody from the top player in the world down to the lowest ranked 3 player, right? So you reach, okay, aim for a rating above 1,800 to earn a spot in Division 1. A rating above 1,500 will still earn you a spot in Division 2. So do your best to achieve either threshold. So 1,500 is what I'd have to get to for Division 2, 1,800 for Division 1, right? Once you reach Division 3, 6, or 9, you will not be relegated any further during the same phase, okay? So for instance, once I get into the division with the big boys, Division 3, I'm there. I'm in ranked matches. My ELO's kept track of. I can't go back to 4, right? Same with 6 and 9. Then rewards, you can see first-time promotion rewards. There you go. First time you're ever promoted, you get these rewards. Then, after every phase ends, if you finish Division 1, you get this. Division 2, those are almost like the big boy rewards, these ones at the end of the phase, right? And then, your ranking rewards. If you get top 200, you get booster tokens times 100. 201 to 1,000. You see what I'm saying? You get these all the way through. And then, enables badges in current phase. This is pretty cool because as you're playing players, you get to see, depending on your highest division reach during the current phase and your final ranking, you'll be rewarded the badge of the highest grade that you meet the requirements for. So when you go into the game, you can tell. If you got a top 10 final ranking, you can tell you play a top 10 player. You played a top 100 player, top 1,000. So for me right now, mine is this green badge. So it's the lowest badge you can get, but I wear that badge with pride. I'm a brand new player. I got myself a badge. So when players go up against me, they see that the mighty OGFC has made it to Division 3. Now, it sucks when you're brand new and you see these type of badges that you see from here up, even up to here. But nonetheless, it's a good challenge. It's fun, and you got it. Your courtesy rating goes down. So if you disconnect, you can pause and abandon a match. But unlike FC, if you just like leave, like say I'm done with this game and you turn it off, rage quit. But truly rage quit, not just, it's a rage quit still if you pause the game and leave early. But if you truly just go, turn off the game, I'm done, and you can't be bothered to pause, quit match or pause, abandon match, your courtesy rating goes down, right? But here it says users who disconnect frequently will receive progressively lower grade. I noticed so it doesn't say that in here, like you would think no matter what if you disconnect, but for me, I noticed that when I went to abandon, my rating never took a hit. It was only when I literally would like turn off the game, like I'm in the middle of a game, get scored on, all right, see you later, turn off the console. When I would abandon it, I wouldn't get a lower. So don't mark my words on that, but I could swear that's how it was like for me. So you could read through more of this as you go. But this is essentially the equivalent of division rivals. You can see your match history for just divisions, right? You see that here. Obviously, it says we're, under you. So I won 3-1, lost 3-1. I won 3-0, tied 1-1, then won 2-0. So very good go. I have 5 games to get. For promotion, 12 points. So you see my current promotion is 2. To remain 10, so already remained, right? I can't get relegated based on the points I've gotten. I just need 2 more to get promotion. And then the cool thing is, let's say I win the next game. Even though I have 4 games remaining, I simply, a skip thing will come up. I would go to skip and I would get whatever my rewards are, and I'd go to Division 4. I don't have to wait and play out those 4 games. I don't have to go in and give them away like you do in FC, where you have to, if you want to be nice, you let the opponent score. If you want to be a lame, you go into a game, you just press pause and quit, right? So you don't have to do that here. Now, this is where we really get into details, all right? So go ahead and take a little brief intermission if you need to get a drink or something. If you're trying to watch this live, you can always play it back later too if you want to. But essentially, this is where we go into our game plan. And this is where I truly started appreciating the game out off the pitch. Like, the details are incredible. And at first, I didn't really like comprehend how awesome this was. All right. So first off, this is self-explanatory. You know what you're looking at, sort of. And why I say sort of is, okay, it's a team and a formation. And down at the bottom, left corner, you see 4-2-2. You see the play style I was talking about, long ball counter. You see on the right, collective strength, 31-20. What does that mean? You'll start to understand those numbers more, but that's how strong my team is overall. Like as you put different players with higher attributes, that will be the grand total strength. As you click through, you see on that right side, I can go like with Maldini. I can see the face card, if you will. He's a double booster, 5-star card. That's the stars we were talking about along the bottom. Okay. And then I scroll and I can see just the basics. Height, weight, age, live update, a grade, and then dominant leg. Okay. So what's a live update grade? Well, if you look across the bottom, you see live update rating. Okay. A lot of good grades, a couple like C's. Is that a good grade? Is it not? Well, here's what I'll tell you, because I learned this today. You can go, and when you do live updates, you can see it also for your substitutes. You see those grades there. All right. And then for your reserves. Now, what I learned is that if you release players, yes, you release a player. It's not like FC where you get X amount of like coins per se. But you can trade in a player, and the higher they are, the better the stuff you'll get. So you'll get more GP, the better the player. You'll even get certain like booster tokens. We'll talk about those in a minute. Training program, skill edition tokens or whatever. So, but the reason why you don't want to get rid of a lot of players is because their live rating changes. So basically, the higher the grade, the better they'll perform. But then within the match, there's also a condition thing. So first here, rule of thumb, anybody D and below, you do not want to play as a starter. You put him over here. You see Gnabry would typically start at right wing. But Ferran Torres has an A, he has a D, he's out. Mo Salah won't be coming in this match with a D. You see the rest are cool, but you want to make sure. Okay? When you get into a game, there's a thing instead of saying, for instance, live update rating, you'll see a condition, player condition. Sometimes it will change from this to like you'll have an arrow up, kind of like diagonal, sideways, and then down, or diagonal down. Sideways and then anything down, especially, you don't want to play. Sideways 50-50, but either up or like facing towards an up direction in the pre-game area. It shows up, the arrow shows up in place of that grade. It's the same thing. Anything like facing down, you want to remove that player from the starting lineup and choose a sub or whatnot, right? So sometimes that will happen, and it all has to do with like their live rating, how they're doing. Now, we'll get more into that here in a bit, but that's all the information on the very first screen. Once you click into each player, we'll use one of my new players for this. We'll use a Rojo, my newest top dog center back that I have with Rudiger. I got him along with McAllister. We'll see that in contracts later. But I click into my player. Sorry. Still getting used to pressing the right button to click in. So I click into my player. Player details. Triangle. Now I'm in here. Okay? Once I'm in here with this player, you see the name, you see the destroyer, okay? Well, what does that mean? Well, here you go. Remember what I said. Along the bottom, there's a square, and there's all this. We'll talk about that. But along the top right, boom, you can see the different playing styles and what they mean. I'm adding S to so many things. So, the destroyer right there, a tenacious battler who keeps opposition attacks at bay through hard tackling and pressing, my type of defender. Compatible positions, they can have this, what they call a playing style, if you will. You see how each one has like a certain position can have it. A center midfielder can have it, a defensive midfielder can have it, and a center back. For instance, my Declan Rice also has this. So you can look through all these. An anchorman, my number 6 is always going to be an anchorman. A deep, or at least I hope that's what he is now. A deep-sitting defensive midfielder protecting the back line. Compatible positions, DMF. So you go out of here, you see Diashimi, click player details, he's an anchorman, right? McAllister, box to box. Holland, advanced striker. Kylian Mbappe, an advanced striker, but again, you see he's playing SS. Well, what's that? Well, let me show you. Additional position proficiency. You see he can play advanced striker, but he can also play shadow striker, right? So when I go in and I move his positioning, watch here, he can play player details. You see triangle right there open at the bottom. I can change him from center forward to shadow striker. And guess what? Look what doesn't change. His rating. Okay, now let me show you something. He's a shadow striker. I want to move him back here. That's how I want him to start out. Okay, so shadow striker 99. But check this out. For Vinny, if I click into here, player details. Okay, you see all the information up there. You see kind of like the spider web map where it shows like how good they are at dribbling, speed, passing. It shows you their best like attributes on that little thing. I never really use that. You see their height, weight, their live update, their dominant leg. You see he's fully boosted. That's the levels I was telling you about. If you get a low level player that's 80, like 83, 84, you would simply click square on player actions. Right, and the game froze, so that's good. Interesting. This is the first time this has happened in eFootball. Wow. So, unfortunately, and it's kind of good because I do want to play, and it's crazy. I didn't respect just how much details there was. So what we will do is do an encyclopedia part 1 and an encyclopedia part 2. What I will do is I will start off the part 2 with every single thing inside the game plan, right? I'll redo the little bit we started on this because there's so much detail within here, and it's so important because this is where you set up your team to go in. Like literally, do you want to try to reestablish connection now or retry? Okay, so obviously there's some kind of issue, but I'm still live, it's saying. So it's so important. Either way, even if it reconnects, I will start off Encyclopedia Part 2, the second. It will be a whole second video. It will start off within game plan. So then, if I'm not mistaken, where we left off then for Encyclopedia Part 1 would be through all the, the match menus into the eFootball League. Essentially, eFootball's version of Rivals, if you're an FC person. So then we'll leave off with that. We'll start with everything in game plan. We'll go from there. We still have contracts to go to, like where you can sign the players, like how I got Rudiger and Araujo in them. You'll see how that whole system works, where you put in money, you get player pulls, and how it's different from the transfer market. And then there's just a few other things available. But once you get all this, you can revisit this as much as you want. Who knows what the heck this deal is, but honestly, it's a sign from the football gaming gods, if you will, because this is a lot, and I want to make sure I give you the full-on detail, and as your kind of mind wanders and you want to actually play the game, it's hard to do all this. So, Encyclopedia Part 2, the live stream's coming, and then I will chop this up into a video and have both Encyclopedia Part 1 and 2 with the kind of chapters detailed in it, and you can read it in the top corner as we go to, so you can skip through to any like area you want to go to. Maybe there's just one area you need to learn about or want more information on. So anyway, that will be to come. Anybody who joined, for all I know, it could have been 0 people the whole time. I literally have like a double recording thing going on, so I couldn't see the chats this whole time. If you didn't know that, now you know, so you don't think I was ignoring you. And so anyway, from there, that video will be coming. We'll do part 2 at a later time. once you got to kind of rest up from this. It's a lot, man. It's a lot going through. But thank you all, and I will see you pretty soon. But that time, the next time we'll be playing. So let me give my brain a little rest, and we'll get back into it. Like, subscribe if you haven't already. Thank you very much. See you on the next one. Peace.